Just to show you the new springs fitted before I bring the transporter in. Not much to it, it's just going to be a quick 1 minute video of that. So there's a new one fitted. Greased all that up, as you can see, along with the bottom of the shocker. The only thing that was missing is a rubber cup at the bottom, but really you should do them in pairs. But the guy with this car hasn't got a lot of money, and as all of you will be aware, not everybody at the moment has money just to throw around. So unfortunately, you do what the customer requests, but the little rubber thing at the bottom might cause a little bit of noise, and you should change them in pairs, but that's living in a dream world. Unfortunately, in real world terms, let's face it, having a spring in place over no spring in place, I don't think a piece of rubber is going to make a great deal of difference if he's been driving around with no spring on. So happy days, that's that fitted. Just get the van in. Just had my dinner there at 2:30. So that's how things go. The minute you're going to collect your sandwich or your dinner, somebody rings you for a call out or something like that, or someone comes in. So it's just how it goes. But we'll get this transporter in. Hopefully these new rubber exhaust hangers work, and we're going to coat it with a bit of wax oil underneath as well. Right, final bit of the day on Wednesday's vlog. Just thought I'd show you what we've done with this transporter. See the stainless steel exhaust on the back? I have just give that a bit polish up for them, because why not, may as well. So we've got these polyurethane bushes. Obviously they're adjustable ones, so it's like 3 holes. 1, 2 and 3. You could cut them off if you want to do, but we've put them upwards, so you can't really see. And you can't see this part of the van when it's on the floor. So they're on now. There's this one here, which is really important because it really does. Because since this van's been converted, all the floor's been dropped, and there's not much gap between there. So what I have done as well is just used a bit of rubber pipe, just in case it ever does come close, which it won't. It's going to touch that piece of rubber rather than banging metal on metal. Replace this one on here, and replace this one on here. I just wanted to show you about polyurethane. Up here, it's like some kind of a vibration damper. On the DPF, the hottest part of the exhaust, these get literally red hot, as in the glow red. And this stuff is put on here for manufacturers. Why all exhaust rubbers aren't like that, God knows. Probably because it saves them thousands, millions probably over all the cars. But these are the ones that have come off, as you can see. They're all really starting to crack. This one's falling to bits. Obviously it's all split. There was one of them as well. That one's not too bad, but it's still gone really weak. As you can see, I can just bend it. That one's all cracked. And the same with that one. So again, these are done now, and unless they rip or tear, they don't degrade. So happy days. So I'm just going to put some wax oil on it now. Well, on the bits mainly at the back, because again, go back to last week or the week before's vlog, I showed you about when these back ends of these are converted. Like all of the floor here, these should be attached to the main floor up there, and everything's been moved around onto this like cheap metal that to do the conversions with, which is nowhere near as good as the metal that the vehicles are made with. So it's very important to get all these areas coated up, because once they start to rust and degrade, you're going to be into some, as you can see just in there where it hasn't been coated, you know, it's going to be problems in years to come. So yeah, coating that, and the customers requested we do something with this side. I don't know if he wants it painted or there's some like stainless steel on it, but he wants this coated because of the rust, because I think back years ago it got like recoiled or something, and they've done something with it. But again, you can see by the nature of the metal that they use on these, it's just shit. It's really just not the same grade as what the manufacturers use, you know. But yeah, that's that. I just thought I'd show you that one. Obviously the Jeep, I've just been doing a few jobs. In fact, I've just stuck a bit of polish on it, and it looks rather nice. And if you have a look on my videos, which I did on this the other day with the oil filter, this is 154,000 mile. It's an 04 plate, and let's face it, it's an American vehicle which are renowned for rusting and not being good quality. And you compare how good that is underneath to some of these things on a 15 plate, and I'm not talking about the conversion bit at the back either. So yeah, that's that. I'll catch you on tomorrow's vlog on Thursdays. Can't even remember what's in, and I'm just standing here and I've realised put some polish on my wheels before and I forgot to rub it off, so I'll get on and do that. Just got the roof to do, so I'm going to go and find some shade, do the roof and do the back door, and that's a full coat of Auto Glim Super Resin polish. Definitely my favourite. I highly recommend it. Definitely never let me down over the at least 10-15 years I've been using it. So I'll catch you on Thursday's vlog. Hello and welcome back to Thursday's vlog. This is just going to be quick, just to show you what's in. We've got the Lexus back, which we had in the other day. It's just in for an oil change. Just wanted to show you just the usual things what I get on about with, you know, why I like Toyota and Lexus. Yeah, you've got to take this bit cover off to get to the oil filter. But it's a bit like my Jeep. When you release the oil filter, obviously the oil runs out, and they've built this little tray. So the oil runs out the filter into the tray. You can connect a pipe to that, or obviously just have something underneath to catch the oil. Simple as that, you know, it doesn't need to be any more. And you just wish a few more, well, manufacturers just bothered the time to do that, you know. While this is down, I'm going to give this a big coating, this cross member for Tim, just to keep it right, you know. But the other thing we've got in, that's all literally this was in for. Like I mentioned, Tim does a lot of the work himself, but obviously the oil change, he prefers us to do it when it's on the lift. Got this A6 in. This, you might have seen it a few times on the channel. It's my friend Simon's. With this, I'm just busy doing oil and filter change. His air conditioning last time was working perfectly, but unfortunately now I've just done a pressure test on it and it's leaking somewhere down here on the front. Probably the condenser or something along the lines of a cracked pipe. There's some damage under the car in this area, so it might have caught or damaged the pipe. So we're just on, the oil filter's out, which I'm letting it drain down into the suction. So obviously that's the filter. Big unit on these. We've got the MAN one here. That's it there. They look like them DV6 filters, but just a bigger version of them. Fit them all Land Rovers, Range Rovers for some reason as well. I've noticed on the box it says. So yeah, just been sucking all the oil out of the oil filter because a lot of oil sits in there. So that's all this one in for. I'm going to get the scanner onto it and just reset the service light. But Simon gets this serviced a lot more than normal, so 9 times out of 10 the service light doesn't even need reset anyways. So that's it, just keeping it short for today for now, because I did it quite a bit yesterday involved. So there's the Lexus, there's this, I think there's a few other things coming in. I don't know what there was outside. Have a look. Oh yeah, there was one thing I think I showed you last night. I did just quickly put the polish round. Oh yes, sorry, that is this RAV. I checked the tyre pressures on it, in which they were really low, so that wouldn't have been helping any, because I've noticed it's got normal general grabber tyres on the front and snow tyres on the back, and the pressure was down to below 20 psi on them, so that most certainly wouldn't have been helping for it making noise. So I've done that, and while I was on, I had a bit of spare time. I just chucked some auto glim. I think I've already showed you this, but it was in the garage. Looks the part, that, isn't it? Looks absolutely spot on. And I've shown you underneath. It looks as good and shiny underneath as it does on top. So happy days. I'm pleased with how that's come up, at least anyway. It'll be back home. As the usual carry-ons just happened. I don't know if you guys have any issues with this, but I've the people across the road, they're getting a new fence on where we usually park. So I've moved the cars out the way for them. And I've just heard that they're getting, obviously they're pulling the fence down and that, but they're getting some kind of patio put in. So that means to me, this is what annoys me in the building trade. Now, this is a rant here, guys. What annoys me in the building trade is, now I'm a mechanic, I run a garage, yeah? So if your car was in today, like my Jeep, nice and clean, or like that, and I just decided to start spraying black wax oil on another job and then cover your car in all the crap, overspray, or just say you had your interior of your car nice and clean, and I just decide to come in with my dirty overalls and just cover the inside of your car in grease and oil. You wouldn't like that, would you? Well, of course you wouldn't. What is it with builders and groundwork people with still saws? Now, every still saw has an adapter to put a hose, a water, what you call it, a water suppression thing, like to keep the dust down. Why is it, I see it all over the country all the time, builders and people who use these type of things think it's acceptable to spend a full week, a full job, cutting and getting dust all over. It's not just all over everybody's cars, it's all over everybody's houses, windows. If your windows are open into your house, it's coming into your house. What I don't understand is every still saw, if it's a commercially used one, which there should be if they're, working on people's property for payment, they have a proper hose connector. If they're a hose connector, that's like a garden sprayer, you pressurise it up and it stops the dust. But they don't. So I'm just dreading that now, that they're just busy on at the minute now, clearing fence out the way. Then they'll start laying the main ones down there. When they start doing the edging, it's a full day or two of constantly cutting with a still saw, which I can guarantee they won't have the water on. And like I've mentioned, I've just polished my Jeep, which I'm taking that home today, I hope, to bring the Accord here. I've got me ZX on the drive, which, as you've seen, is nicely cleaned up from the car show, which I'm at in another week's time, another car show. I've got my Caravan there, and I've got the ML there. And I'm away in the Caravan in 2 weeks. And like I said, I don't want my Caravan. It's like, I can move the cars to a certain extent, but I can't go moving a Caravan. And, you know, we're going away, and a Caravan's not something you can just clean in 5 minutes. And when them things get like that, really, it's like the brick dust stuff, it dyes them, you know. It damages because I like a porous kind of white on them, you know. So, we'll see. I don't want to have to be getting into conflicts with people. It's not me way. I don't like interfering with people when they're working, because I wouldn't like somebody coming across to my garage saying, don't do this, please. Like, not that we ever do anything to affect the people around. Well, there might be the odd bit of noise when a compressor goes, or I don't know, don't really do anything which would, a compressor, I suppose. I don't even rev up engines and stuff. It's not my way of working. There's not many jobs you need to rev an engine that hard to annoy people. So yeah, just let us know what your opinions is on that, guys. Am I just a moaning old grandad kind of thing, or not? Would you happily sit there and let somebody cut with a still saw for days on end next to all your cars, your property, when there's a special thing there which costs not very much money, and all of them should have them, because it's actually the law. You know, just put some water on it. Or if there's a few lads there, you don't even need to have the extent of a water suppression. You just need somebody standing with a hose or a watering can, just lightly watering the area that's being cut. Let us know your opinions, because I'm dreading this now, because I don't know what way to approach this. I'm not going to go shouting on at the lads doing the work, but what I have got is when the guy come over a few days ago and says, like, you'll have to move your car on that for a week, I got his number. So if it does start, I may just text him or ring him and just say, look, you know, they're cutting, using the saw, they're getting my cars and my Caravan, my house covered in dust. And, you know, as you know, it's abrasive dust as well. I'm not moaning on, it's not like Hoover dust. It's like cutting stone, rock. And, you know, when it's not just a case of saying, oh, just get a bucket of sponge and throw it over your car. It's like, especially the ZX, it's white as well. If it's a dye in it, it dyes all the paint. You can't rub it with a sponge. You can't just get a brief hose pipe and rinse it off, because all of the abrasive, like, grit stops on, and then you end up scratching the car. So it's quite a big deal. So I don't know whether to text the guy, ring him, or just confront the guys head on when they start doing it. And here you might be saying, hey, God, Dad, I haven't even started doing it yet. I know what they're like, and they will. I just know that they will, so I'm not looking forward to that. Hopefully they cut it in the garden they're working at, but I know what they're going to do. It's like a side garden. You might have seen sometimes where I park my Caravan in front of the house on the night before we leave. It's like there, and I just know what they're going to do. They're going to use that bit of path, which is directly in front of my property, right next to all my cars, to do the cutting, rather than doing it in the garden where they're working. So we'll see. Sorry to moan on, but I just had to have my weekly rant there about that, because it's bugged me for years, that has. When people just come in and just, you'll all seen these still saws cutting rocks and stone. It's like a plume of smoke, and it's very, very, very fine. It travels a long way, you know. So we'll see what happens, but that's probably going to be something that's happening later on today or tomorrow when they start doing that. And again, what's the problem? Me bloody internet's off, so my CCTV isn't working. So normally I would keep an eye on it, but I can't. So I'm going to have to go up there in a couple of hours and just quickly check what's actually going on. So I'll catch you soon. I'll probably leave that be today. I think I'm going to bring the Accord this afternoon if it's not too busy. Swap it over for the Jeep like I was saying. But now I'm a bit worried about leaving the Jeep there if it's going to get covered in dust when I've just spent quite a bit of time cleaning it. So we'll see. I might show the Accord up on the lift and doing a bit of work on that. So I'll catch you soon, guys. Hello and welcome back to Friday's vlog. Quick show around what's in today. You can see here an Audi A1. It's young lasses just getting it. Only thing is with this, the front pads, they're going to be getting due replacement, but they're fine for the test, but they are required. But just to show you on a practically new car here, we're back to good old-fashioned brake drums. I suppose it's not too much of a bad thing, because the discs on these little cars always used to kind of be issues with them. So I want to show you a couple of interesting with these new cars. You've got these little sensors on the back. Well, it's not with new cars. They're for the headlights adjustment. Is the automatic LED ones. Very expensive when they go wrong. These little sensors, little plastic arms snap off and everything. And there'll be one somewhere on the front as well. On them usually. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Maybe one here, is there? No, must just be on the back for this, but obviously that's all for the LED lighting. But it is just the stereotypical, well, that keeps every young person happy these days, isn't it? If they've got an Audi, you know, I tell people don't buy them, get a Yaris or a Fiesta, but it just seems to be the way. Chris, if you're watching, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It just seems to be the way. Get yourself into debt, get an Audi. For why? Because your mate's got one and that's it. But that's young'uns for you. I could never ever fathom that out. And we've got this Astra, and it came in the other day. I don't know if I put it on the channel. It's got a cam sensor fault, but there's two of. I'll show you this when I bring it in a minute. I'm going to get the codes. I'm going to try and fathom out which sensor's A and which sensor's B, which they make it very awkward, because one's your exhaust and one's your inlet. And there is no real set way of knowing, unfortunately. Right, quickly, onto this. This is for sale. I don't know if a few of you guys have seen this or not. This is one of my good customers owns this. And he come to me earlier on this week / the end of last week, just saying, do you know anybody who wants to buy it? Yeah, I just went and got the keys there. And this car we've serviced from brand new. So it used to be a company car from his wife. I can't remember what company she worked for, but she had this, and then when she decided, it was a lease car of some kind, and then when the lease was up, they decided to buy it and keep it. So all of our history's in it. It's the Elite, so it's the top spec, and it's the full, I think 160 brake, the black full, you can't see that in the sun, but it's the black CDTI, which is like the higher powered one. 2 litre CDTI, and obviously in the back here, full leather, unmarked, still smells like new. Obviously in the boot. These people keep these cars really clean. Money's no object. Boot is like new, no dogs or anything been in. And this guy never skimps on the money. It's got 4 brand new Goodyear tyres on, brand spanking new. I know it's been valeted. He had it valeted, but these are brand spankers. I reckon I think they'll be about 400-500 quid's worth of tyre on it, brand new. And the interior, you've got your electric folding mirrors, 4 electric windows, heated leather, automatic lights, wipers, front fogs, cruise control, heated seats, all the malarkey that you get with these. Electronic dipped in mirror, digital speedo in the centre when you switch it on. But the thing is, I took this to my partner because I really thought it might have been a good idea for her. But the only thing is, with it not being in a state, it's a bit too high for the dog, especially the older one, to be jumping up. And again, it's only £30 a year road tax as well. Really ticked all the boxes. I was fancying it myself, to be honest. I really was. And I'll just check these documents, don't have any names or anything on. But as you can see, all of the documents there from us. All them invoices from us over the years. Full book pack, the lot. And he was selling this car really cheap. I was going to suggest to you guys, if anybody wanted it, drop us a message. But a guy who was in the garage this week, I'm not going to mention names because basically I mentioned that to him. The guy come down to the garage and left it forward because it was just in his way. And yeah, I've just done the reveal. I hope you like it, the Honda Accord. And guess what's happened? Through no fault of my own, I've just simply dealt with selling this for a guy. I didn't sell it, you know what I mean? I just told one of my customers, he's another one of my customers, about it. He bought it at the garage, he's seen it, and he says he wants it. So a guy who's been in this week has bought it, but he's been left with his car. Guess who's ended up buying his car? 5 bloody cars now. At the minute on the road, I've got me a few other ones in storage. So I'm going to have to do some serious thinking now, because this one I've just bought, hear us out here, it is probably going to be a better car to go down the country for the safari park on. So I may, unfortunately, I'll check it over, I'll have a drive of it first, may have to sell the Accord, because I only bought the Accord to do the safari park and have as a bit of a stopgap. But unfortunately now, with this other car, I'm a bit stuck. It's probably going to be better because it's diesel and it's bigger and it's newer, so it's probably going to be a better one to go down to the safari park in, and basically a bit more rougher condition than the Accord. And the Accord's I felt bad saying I'm just going to get this Accord abused for no reason. I'm hoping the monkeys now don't rip the bloody cars to bits, but I did feel bad because I'm getting a lot of positive feedback and all you guys seem to really like this Honda. So quickly putting that out there, if any of you are interested in the Accord, I may have to sell it prematurely, against me will, but I probably will have to. So this afternoon I'm running this car up to him. Luckily, because I'm not stuck with storage at the minute, because people across the road from me is getting the fence done, I've actually really feel bad, had to park me ML on somebody's front lawn at the top of the street, so it's out the way. My partner's mum and dad's getting work done, so they've got to skip on the drive, so she can't park her car there. As you know, I've got the Jeep here at the garage. I'm thinking about bringing the ZX, as you know, because of the cutting the stones, to the garage today, Friday, so it'll stop in the garage till Tuesday, out the way. So I'm stuck for space, but luckily this guy's got an extra space on his drive and he's agreed to keep the new car, his old car, the car I'm buying off him, on the drive until I decide to want to take it away. So happy days. I might do a reveal on that later on, because obviously next week I will do the weekly vlog, and then the week after I'm away in the caravan for the week. I might go up to where he lives and do a little walk around reveal. But just as a clue, guys, that car's been on this channel on my weekly vlogs just recently, so I'm not going to tell you any information about it until the deal's physically done. But some of you may like it, some of you won't. It's nothing as rare or nothing as Addict or the ZX, but at the same time it's an interesting spec and it's a nice big comfy car, and that's all I'll say. So I'm going to get this Astra in and have a look what's going on with these cam sensors, and we can get on with sorting out the sale of the Astra. Right, so I just want to quickly show you as well about these cars now, how complex they are. So I'm running through doing a light check, as you can see. I mean, you have a look in here, you've got your Audi emblem and everything to remind you that you're in an Audi when you've already got the badge there. But look at this, so obviously, are there side lights? Are running lights? Indicators? This side, right, so so you've got your LEDs now in amongst all that. Headlights? Dip beam. See, that's going through the switch in there. They're that much of a complication. So you've got all those LED matrix in there, high beam, and I believe there's got the bad weather lights or whatever you call them. Like it looks like fun fogs. It has. I press that. See that one come on and off. So you've got that one within there. You've got your dip beam. You've got your main beam. You've got your running light and side light, and then indicator at this side, and then your indicator within it, and a headlamp washer that after a certain year, 18 or 19, they have to work. So when you've got a 20-year-old one of these and the headlight washers have stopped working, it's an MOT fail. All of this with the lights, and I don't care what they say, mind, this is broad daylight. You can see it's a flipping blazing hot summer's day, and that right there, just all this rubbish that they say, like if I fit LEDs, lights to this Jeep for startling people, when you're coming towards one of these things at night, I'm telling you now, they blind you just as bad. Just because they've got the e-approval mark on them, it's an absolute load of rubbish. Because when they're adjusted properly in non-projector lights like them, yes, they're bright, but I'm telling you what, they don't blind you any more than what these do. So there's a whole load of rubbish that's been brought into the MOT. Just want to show you as well under here, there's a little pump running away there. There's auxiliary pumps in these things that continue to run. You've got manifold coolers. This, I don't believe, is the turbo, is it? Oh, it's the turbo version. So you've got all them sensors. Just massively complicated. So yeah, them front lights were all working. You can try doing the screen wash. Did the wipers not work? 2 moments. There you go, you see. So they've got to work for the test. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't get away with these new A1s because every time I see one, I keep thinking the bonnet isn't closed properly. I know they've obviously done it as part of a style with these 3 pieces missing, but I can't get away with that. That to me just looks like the bonnet isn't closed. But anyways, round to the back, it'll be probably much of the same. All LED, yeah, all this here. You've got your Audi emblem. Just to remind you, you're in an Audi, not a Proton for some reason. It's like, now we're putting... I don't mind it on some cars. There's some cars that did it to say, like, when they had, like, new bi-xenon lights and they would put LED and bi-xenon. But now everything's got to be an Audi because that's all people are bothered about nowadays is branding. As long as they can keep seeing the Audi symbol, it must make them feel better or something. It's all... Now cars have become is branding, like you know, like the top clothes and that. They can be the most rubbish top you can get, but if it's got the right badge on it, it's a £200 top, isn't it? And you feel better about wearing it for some reason. But that's the way cars have become. And let's guess, do the indicators? I bet you it's the Stroby ones. Yeah, we go. Which you never see Audi drivers using on the road, do it? Because they don't need to indicate. So there we go. You tell me how much that's all going to cost when it goes wrong, eh? It even goes into this bit here, so it's 2 lots, so it's like 4 LED lights on the back. LED number plates, yep. So there's your brake lights, you see, all LED up there. Fog light. That'll be probably, there you go, hidden in amongst there. 2 separate LEDs and then the reverse lights. There you go, like that side. So yeah, in years to come, when all these start going wrong, it's going to be expensive. It's all fair, well and good. Even the dashboard, it's just one big screen, you see it? I mean, it's like happening on all cars now. You kind of get away from it. But you've got to remember, you know, like this Jeep here, you know, when you get to someone pushing 20-year-old, and, you know, you've got a light. I know things, they say, get cheaper, but I'm going back now. Xenon lights have been out for 20 years now. And when you have a look at the price of a xenon bulb, it's still many times more expensive than a halogen bulb. You know, like, they're still £100 or more for an HID ballast unit in a bulb. So, you know, I just thought I'd put that one in. I'm going to get on with this Astra and see if I can figure out which car is A and B, but I'll show you when I've got the codes. Right, final part of Friday's vlog. The internet's been on and off last night. On, off, I don't know. I think what they're doing is they're connecting batteries, temporary batteries up to test the lines. So I'm probably going to struggle to upload this. Quick bit what's going on. This has just appeared out of nowhere, as you have known before with the Audi A1 on. This has come in just a lass across the roads, Duet's MOT, and we've checked it over, and it's not too bad. The only failure I've spotted, guys, is one I talk about quite a lot. It's got missing wheel nuts on the front because the locking wheel nuts have been removed. Now, like I've told you, on the Jeep, on this car, that's a fail. On this Astra, it's a pass because you can't see. So it just shows you it's daft, isn't it? That could have one wheel nut on, as long as the wheel wasn't physically loose. That could have one wheel nut and pass the test. Just because you can see them clearly, it's a fail. But guess what I've got sitting in the back of here? In an A-Series engine rocker box cover gasket. Cover. A whole load of Ford wheel nuts from the Fiesta van. So I'll stick 2 on there for the lady. And apart from that, bar a few age-related things, it's not in bad nick. So we'll either get it tested on Tuesday or today. The Astra, I wanted to just quickly run through this with you. Got the diagnostic equipment out, which I'll show you in here out of the sun. It actually come up better, the code this time. There is an issue with the cooling system on it, but we can disregard that for now because it's not overheating. Is intake camshaft position sensor circuit bank 1. Now, just remember that code. I'll show you. Obviously, this vehicle's got variable valve timing for the intake and the exhaust. So sometimes they say sensor A and B, like on these, the Chryslers and the Jeeps, on the sensors on the banks of the engine, they're very confusing sometimes. So obviously you've got your 2 sensors. You've got one here, which is your exhaust, and you've got your cam for your intake, which is this one. So you can mess around changing them back and forwards and all the rest of it, and I do know these can have ECU faults, but the other one looks quite bad to get out, so to swap them around, what you might end up doing is damaging a sensor. So this is, I've already been on and changed it, as you can see, just by the state of the crud on there, it's not looking good for what the... I'll try and put that where it'll focus on a bit better. It's not looking good for the internals of that engine if that's the state of that on the side of the cam. As you can see, I've used an original equipment Delphi one. Probably what these leave the factory with, if I can find what branding's on the old one. But anyways, most of the stuff on Vauxhalls is Delphi. It's the closest I can get. They're not cheap, these sensors, like. So obviously we'll put that in. So what we're going to do now, what it used to do was crank over quite a lot and it wouldn't start. So obviously what we need to do first, switch the ignition on, we'll clear these codes off and then we'll see if it starts up first time or if it takes a few turns to get going. And then we'll know we haven't cured it. So put the ignition on. I'll put this in the car so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to go back because the ignition's been off. We need to recycle it. Trouble codes. Obviously it'll come up with those two. Erase codes. Yes. End. Back. I'll just remember. Go off. Back on. Start up. See, still turning a few times because we need to actually reprogram it. Right, so now I've reset it. Ignition off. Back on again. Hopefully this time it'll be first time on the dot. There we go. Just like that. Engine light out as well. Off again. Remember, the first time it will crank like that. That's normal because it's basically getting its parameters back because everything's been reset. So back on. First time and engine light out. We can check the codes, but the only thing is it may still have logged a code from when it was trying to start because it wasn't understanding. Wait, it hasn't. So there we go. No trouble codes were detected. Read codes again. Nothing. So there we go. Happy days. Fingers crossed that's it. It's not 100% because I do know these have problems with these ECUs. So we'll leave that to run for a few minutes. I'll just get round here out of the blazing sun. And that's it. I'm going to leave it here. So like I've mentioned, we're going to take that. I'm going to take that across to Simon. He's got his new car. I don't actually have anything to do with this in case anybody says, oh, you're trading cars. No, I don't. Basically, I'm more of a consultant, if you put it in that sense. One of my customers come to me, asked me if I know anybody after a car. I've asked around all my friends, family, and sure enough, a guy who was just in at the garage visiting, seen it, and he wanted it. It's actually the same guy who used to own my partner's Astra, as well as before I had it for quite a few years as well. So he's getting a good car. So now I just make a few quid in between. To be honest, I'm making nothing off this one because I'm just getting his car. Is part of the deal. So I don't make money off this. I don't say to a customer, oh yes, I charge this percentage. Don't do anything like that. I just do it, and I expect normally that they just get us a crate of beer, a few drinks, put a few quid in my hand. I don't charge for the service. I just do it because the guy who owns the Astra spends a fortune with me. The guy who's bought it spends a fortune with me. So all I'm doing is keeping customers going. At the end of the day now, Simon's going to be coming back to us for all the work that Astra needs, servicing, MOT, this, that and the other, brakes. So happy days, we're not really losing out. Whereas if Simon had gone off and bought another car from somewhere else, he might get one of these service plans and we wouldn't see him, we'd lose a customer. So it works in my favour anyway, so I don't expect money off people. So happy days, I'm going to get this work done. Hopefully get my dinner the day on time, in peace. Get this running about done for the Astra, and I'll reveal what the new project is next week. But I'll leave that there, guys. If any of you are interested in that Accord, as much as I love it, I'm probably going to have to let it go because I haven't got space for 5 cars. I think the new car that I'm getting will suit the job better to go down to the safari park, and then I'll decide whether to keep that over the winter to run alongside the Jeep or move it on. I don't know. We shall see. So if any of you are interested in anything, like I keep saying, or you've got anything you want to ask, leave a comment below. But don't go asking where I live, what my address is, what my phone number is, because I'm not going to put that out on YouTube to the public. What I've mentioned, if you go to the main Car Addict Garage description of the channel, where you actually click on information of Car Addict Garage Northeast, and it gives the description of what I do. I have entered a phone number into there you can contact me on. That is just a pay-as-you-go phone. I have sat on silent. I don't carry it around with us, so like I've said, expect a couple of days delay for us to get back to you. But if you want us to contact you directly, send a text message to that number or ring it by chance. I may hear it ringing, but I don't carry it on as it just gets left on the bench at home. And if not, head over to Facebook, go to Car Addict Garage Northeast, and you can send a private message on there to me, and I can speak to you that way. But just don't ask on YouTube to go put my phone number and where I live publicly on there, because it ain't going to happen. So follow those 2 steps if you wish to contact us. I know a lot of you aren't into social media, but at the end of the day, there is a phone number on YouTube under the page description if you want to ring or send me a text. So that's great. I hope you've enjoyed it this week, guys. I've kind of forgotten what I've even said and done. It's been that manic. But yeah, sorry about the bit rant and moan the other day, but I'd just like to hear your opinions on it. Just in general, about, people doing building work next to your property. I still have my foot firmly in the position of, if somebody's using a still saw next to your property and you've got stone dust, abrasive dust going all over your house, all into your house if your windows are open, all over my caravan, all over my cars, I think I've got every right to walk up to them and kind of base, because it is law by the Environment Agency to have a water kind of system fitted to the still saw, or even just somebody stand there with a flipping watering can dampening it down as they're cutting. It's not much to ask, and that's why I'm hoping what I'm going to do here now is, as you know, the Jeep and the Astra here, I'm going to try and get the ZX, get the Astra out the way, get the ZX from home. The new car is stopping at the guy's house until I sell the Accord. So that's just a few more vehicles out the way, so they're not going to be getting covered in dust. But anyways, I'll catch you next week. I may get a video in about the new project, hopefully, and I'm probably going to have to split these up into 2 videos. So I'll catch you next week, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, please, please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Leave a comment. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe. I'll catch you next week.